Brit Adair. I am originally from Kansas City. I'm 27. Not from downtown though, from the burbs. I'm not gonna say where. I'm gonna leave it a mystery.
Cool, awesome. Yeah. And now you're working with Black and Gold and doing
yeah, ever since I became a musician, my life kind of went in that direction. And, you know, I went to the Kansas City Art Institute for Video and New Media. So I've been in the visual arts community, and then I started playing music more and getting more involved in the music community. And so I started bartending, and then that connected me with a lot of different people, and especially the music community. And so then I started booking for Black and Gold Tavern, which the venue is now called Vandals. We're trying to make another badass venue for musicians to come to in Kansas City.
Right. So you've always grown up kind of in this area.
Yeah, but
in the burbs, but not.
Well, I grew up in the burbs, but as soon as I could get out, I did, and I moved downtown to go to school at the Art Institute, and so I've lived in the urban area ever since.
Right. What did you go to the Art Institute for?
For video. So, which I still do that. I do music videos for friends, bands, and just freelance stuff. I've interned a lot of places. Charlotte Street Foundation, KCPT. I still do freelance for them. So I just bounce around the city.
So when you were growing up, like, what made you want to go to the Art Institute?
Well, I pretty much grew up with just my mom, and she's a very strong person in my life. Gave me a lot of, let me do anything. So I was really involved in the arts through high school, and that was kind of my escape, you know. And then she's like, you should just do what you want, you know. I mean, there's no reason in going to school for business. If you want to be an artist,
right,
go be an artist.
What kind of videos did you do for art school?
When I graduated, I'd say my work was most evolved. I was doing a lot of experimental portraiture through video, and, you know, using my body as a type of art form and documenting it and figuring out what documentation is. And that's about the same time I started playing guitar, so trying to figure out how to marry music with video. One of my most effective pieces, I stepped outside myself, and it was called 8 Minutes of Light, and I actually created the piece in Toronto when I lived there for a year, exploring the ideas of how life isn't very permanent.
What was it like living in Toronto for a year?
It was a learning experience. Yeah.
How old were you when you went?
It was right after college.
Okay.
And my grandma and my mom packed all my crap in the car, did a road trip because they wanted to see Niagara Falls. Like, my grandma, 3 generations of badass chicks arguing with each other. Like,
so you kind of have, like, tough as nails ladies in your family.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's what I hope I will be.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
Who was the residency through?
The Toronto School of Art.
Okay.
It's actually not the biggest art school in Toronto.
What was it like coming back to Kansas City after? Was that like the first time you really like lived away from Kansas City?
Yeah. And I think Kansas City's actually come a long way even since then. And I was really involved in the music community in Toronto because there's like, everything's really accessible. Everyone's actively doing something, and everyone's from somewhere else. So I think everyone's like really open to find out new things and meet new people. And I hope Kansas City gets better at that.
Right.
I still feel as though the city's a little more disjointed.
So you started playing music when you were in college?
Yeah, I started playing, got my first guitar late, so when I was like 18. And
how long have you been with the Bad Ideas?
4 years.
4 years?
Yep. And we leave on tour Friday. I'm so excited.
Where are you guys going?
East Coast. Yep.
I'm jealous.
Go venture the East Coast.
Yeah. When did you play for a long time before you started playing in bands, or did you kind of jump into that?
Music, like, I got my first guitar, you know, I've always dated musicians, and they were like, you know, you go to their shows, and I was like, man, I really want to play, and I really wanted to play guitar. And so I got my guitar when I was 18, and I was just self-taught, and I jumped into the Zoids, which, like just a couple of my friends, Faye and Zach, and we didn't know what we were gonna sound like. We just all could kind of play music.
So you said earlier, like the punk community is like your like home base.
Yeah.
Now, did that, like, how does that work?
Well, I don't know if it really works. It doesn't really work.
I mean, it feels like any sort of like group, it's like a dysfunctional family.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? But you're like, you're
it-
my people, and I will stick by you.
It's very much a dysfunctional family.
Right.
Basically, it just starts out of going to shows.
Mhm.
So, going to basement shows, and then going to venues and playing shows and meeting other musicians.
Mhm.
Pretty much everyone in the punk community in Kansas City either plays something or just like really loves music.
Yeah, and I just really like, you know, like dirty house shows and stuff like that.
Yep, it's all part of it.
Yeah. So I always found it kind of interesting, like when you worked at Dave's. Dave's was just such a weird mix of people a lot of times.
Being a bartender has made me grow up a lot.
Yeah? How
Yeah.
so?
You know, I worked at Dave's Stagecoach for 2 years, and it's really hard being a bartender. It is, because it's a very, like, you're basically someone's psychologist with booze.
So, how's this tour gonna go? Like, you've toured a lot, right?
Just in short spurts, like week, 2 weeks at a time. This is our, like, it's like almost a month-long tour. And basically we have pretty much all the shows booked. There's still that are like a couple that are on edge that might happen or may not happen. And we just go.
When did you, like, start the Bad Ideas? You said it's been about 4 years?
Yeah, so I guess that'd be 2011.
And have you always known your bandmates, or?
Me and Dawn, no, not really. Bands always start in weird ways. We had some lineup changes with 2 female drummers in the beginning, and Caitlin plays bass, and Dawn just knew her. I didn't know Caitlin in the beginning, and then George is now our drummer, and he's as much of a rat girl as the rest of us. No, but like, we just, you know, yeah, having good chemistry in a band is really important. And everyone's got to have the want to do it. You got to want to do it, because no one's forcing you to be in a band. You know, you got to want to play and want to say something with your music, because if you get bored, then it's, you know, you won't show up to practice or whatever. So it's just volunteering. We just want to do this because we like it.
Right. Well, and I've noticed that also with tweaking bandmates over time with certain bands, and you can kind of tell when it clicks. You know, if something has started out and it's been kind of on shaky feet, and then, like, you can really tell when everyone's gelling. So you guys have kind of gotten to that.
Yeah, I think we're jelly, and our music starts to form that way too. We don't force anything. We just, like, I'm like, okay, here I have this riff. What do you think about this? And then Caitlin's like, oh, that kind of sounds like we should do this afterwards. And then George is a ninja on the drums, so he's just like, and then we come up with the instrumental part, and Dawn is full of ideas, and she's like, well, I want to talk about this.
So do you guys kind of work collectively on the lyrics?
There's a lot of crossover now. I think that we're more evolved. We kind of all put our little insights into what we think the song should be about. Yeah, but Dawn is like the official, like, she like writes what she wants to say.
Sure.
And she says some pretty cool stuff. So we kind of just trust each other. We just go with it. If a song sounds weird, we just play it anyway. People can take it or leave it. I don't know.
Whatever works, right? So how did the split? Is it a split final?
Yeah,
How did that come
7-inch
together?
split. Yeah, we just got it done. It feels like it's been forever. Basically, Red Kate's like our sister band, I'd say. We play with, our bands play together a lot, and that's because we just do, and we both like each other's bands. And the lead singer of Red Kate, Elron Drunkard, is how he likes to be known. He's like, hey, let's get together and let's put a record out.
Yeah, I've always been really curious about especially with like a band as high energy as you guys are, is it hard being in the studio and recording for, you know, when you don't have that same energy that you normally have?
I think, I mean, I'm not saying that people should go out and drink, but I think having beer, having your crappy High Life or Hams there with you is like kind of reassuring, because it's just how it is. And we turn the lights down a little bit, but it's a pretty sterile environment.
So now that you've been doing this booking stuff for a while, does that make you look at playing shows differently at all?
It actually makes me feel a lot smaller, because you know, when you play in your band, you're like, this is our band, you know, like it's everything really. I think I take it less for granted now. Like I don't know, we're all fighting for something. Yeah.
So when does the vinyl come out?
It's out. We had our record release on May 31st.
Okay.
Mills Records helped us out. They bought an X amount of records, and so we're kind of like on their label, so we're like their first release.
So what's next for you? What's like the game plan? You're going on tour?
Surviving tour.
Yeah.
And then hopefully just being more active in the music community and the visual arts community and kicking ass. And I don't know. We love to travel, so hopefully more tours. But I want Vandals to succeed. It's really hard running a DIY space. So I want Vandals to succeed. I want there to be more bands in Kansas City. And so I'm gonna just keep doing my thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll join another band. 4 is not enough.
I started playing guitar again.
Yes!
Just so you know.
Well, so we can jam.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, bye. Okay.
Rock and roll, baby.